Hiya friends, welcome to Kitten Brush. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw Mr. Wolf from the new DreamWorks picture, The Bad Guys. So grab a pen and some paper and let's get started. I'm going to start at the top of my paper in the center. I'm going to draw a curve. And then I'm going to draw two short lines at the end of that curve. And then let's extend down those lines. This will be the side of Mr. Wolf's face. And I'm going to imagine just a center line there and just make a little point. And now I'm just going to drag a curve to that center point there. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Let's go ahead and drag down a short line and make a little oval, sort of a teardrop shape for the zipper pull. Now let's go ahead and draw Mr. Wolf's eyes. So I'm going to imagine just a little line here, and I'm going to go a little bit to the left of that imaginary line. And I'm going to do the same thing for the right side. There's just 2 points, and from those points, let's extend a line out. And then from those 2 lines, on each one, we're going to make a little half circle. I'm going to switch pens, use something a little bit thinner here because my drawing is so small. So now let's make some little ovals. The ovals are going to be cut off on the top. It's almost like a half oval. And then let's go ahead and draw some tiny little eye highlights here. And now we can go ahead and color the eye in black. Now I'm going to switch back to my other pen. And we can go ahead and do the eyebrows. So I'm just going to start here, the inside corner of the eye, and just drag it up and then angle it down. I'm going to try to do the same thing on the other side. And then going back to that left side again, I'm just going to drag up a small line and then come up and then angle it down. I'm adding a little bit of thickness where it bends there. And then I'm going to go ahead and color it in. Now let's start on Mr. Wolf's nose. So I'm just going to drag a line here in the center, just below the eyes. And then let's draw another half circle there. And then at the corner of that line on each side, let's draw 2 short lines. And then almost a slight curve connecting them, the two. And you can use that space right there, that sort of rectangular space, as a highlight area, but I'm going to go ahead and color in the nose black. I'm going to save that white space when I color. Now for his mouth, you're going to go just a little bit down. I'm going to draw a line here. You can even leave it like that, you know, like he's got a sort of not amused expression on his face, but I'm going to go ahead and put a smile for his face. So I'm going to go out to the corners just where his nose is and draw 2 lines. And then I'm going to curve those lines down until I connect that center line underneath the nose. Now I'm going to draw just a curve underneath that center line that we drew. This is just his chin. And then I'm going to add a little bit of thickness to his the top portion of his mouth. And then on the sides here, I'm just going to add just some little lines. They're almost slightly wavy. This is just to show that he has his fur. you know, like wolves have their cheek fur. Just kind of want to show that underneath his jumpsuit. All right, now I'm going to draw a curve at the top of the head. This will be the top of his hood on his jumpsuit. And then on the left side of that curve, I'm just going to extend it, just sort of slightly curving down and then curving back up. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just mirrored. And then along the sides of that hood, I'm going to draw a parallel line, just extending past the face here, and then I'm going to curve it up toward the line we just made. These are I want to say what he is a sheep, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. I think that's what it's supposed to be, but it kind of looks like a rabbit too at the same time. So, and then just draw 2 lines, one under each ear of that jumpsuit hood. And now we're going to curve that toward the zipper pull. We're just adding some folds here for the hoodie. And just another small curve there underneath that line that we just did. I'm just going to extend that curve. Almost looks like a hook shape. And now let's draw some lines for the shoulders. So just 2 slanted lines. And then underneath that zipper pull, I'm going to drag down a line. Now for the arms, I'm going to try to make him look a little lanky. So I'm just going to add 2 lines here. This will be the crease for his arm and his chest. I'm going to go ahead and drag down a line, just so I know where the sides of his body are and his arms, the side of his arms. And then let's go ahead and extend that shoulder, that left shoulder out. I'm going to curve it just slightly in toward the body. And then I'm going to come on the inside of that arm and add another curve for his forearm on his left side. And then I can just round it out, just give it a curve at the bottom here, and then extend it back up to form an elbow. And it's okay if it looks lumpy because it's supposed to look that way. This is kind of an oversized jumpsuit. So on the right arm, I'm curving it more in just to give it a little bit of a different look than the left side. And then just add a curve for the bottom of the sleeve. Now going under the left sleeve, I'm going to extend a line out and then just slightly bend it and then curve it in back toward the cuff of his sleeve. Now I'm going to go back to the left side of the sleeve, extend a line, bend it slightly, and now let's go underneath that line and draw another line out. We'll form the finger here. He has some large hands and fingers, so they look a little big. And let's add some claws. You're just gonna make like a triangular shape, really skinny triangle for the claws. Now let's do the same thing on the right side. Again, just extending a line and then bending it slightly, curve, and then come back up toward the sleeve. And then on the very right side of that sleeve, draw a line, bend it slightly. And then underneath that line, I'm going to drag out another line and curve it in and connect it with that thumb. And then just finish off by adding another curve for that finger kind of behind that second finger we drew. And then just add your claws. If I'm moving too fast, go ahead and pause and catch up. All right, now we can go ahead and move on to the legs. So I'm just gonna go just about where the thumb is and draw a line right there, just a little guiding line. And now underneath his right claw and then his left claw, I'm gonna draw a line there just to show me where I need to draw the legs. All right, now going just underneath that right claw again, extend that line down. And I'm gonna add some little folds of fabric here where it gets a little slouchy. So you're gonna add just a curve and then bring it in. And let's add another curve there. It's kind of like an odd hook shape. And then just a smaller curve. And I'm gonna drag out a line and then curve it for the top of the foot. And then just draw another straight line going back. It kind of curves a little bit. And I'm just gonna make sure this is centered. I'm just gonna bring up a little line here, then add some more folds. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and extend this top line here, extend it all the way down for the inside of his leg. And then just make some curves that pull in, and then another one, and just a tiny one right there. All right, now let's do the left leg. So underneath the finger, I'm just gonna drag down a line. And let's add those little folds of fabric. So again, it's just like a hook shape. And then just a small curve. And then this foot's gonna be a little bit more turned out toward the side. So it's not gonna look as thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag a straight line, and then I'm gonna curve it. And then just drag it toward the center near his other foot. I'm gonna leave a little gap there between his 2 feet. So I'm gonna bring up a short line. And then let's add those folds. I think I'm gonna go ahead and bring down this line real quick. So add a fold there, and then another fold, and then a smaller one underneath that. Okay, I think most of the body is done. I'm gonna add some little details. So I'm gonna add a little line here at the toe, on each toe. Now I'm gonna go back up to the hood and draw a nose for the sheep or lamb or rabbit or whatever he is. And then I'm gonna just make a little mouth there. It's a hook shape, just mirrored. And then for the eyes, just draw an oval, just sort of a bean shape, more like a bean shape. And then I'm gonna just leave some highlights in there, just some small highlights on the top of that eye. And then color it in. And I feel like I need to add something else. You know, I think his jumpsuit needs some cuffs on his sleeves. So you can leave this out if you want, but I'm just gonna add just a little thickness just underneath that sleeve, just on that line right there. And then just drag a curve across. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, just adding a little thickness here. And then drag it across. And then I'm gonna add just some short little lines, just the details of the cuff. Alright, so our line work of Mr. Wolf is done. I'm gonna go ahead and color with some alcohol markers and fast forward through this bit and play some fun spy movie music. So I'll catch you at the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed drawing Mr. Wolf with me from the Bad Guys movie, and if you did, please hit that like and subscribe button to see more Kitten Brush videos in the future.